Hello everyone, my name is Zachary O'Shea, and this is Box of Teeth. Every October for the last few years, I've gone ahead and shared a homebrew Dungeons & Dragons monster with everyone, and this October is no different. So here is your monster a day for October 24th, 2023. For week 4 of this event every year, what I do is Universal Antagonists, which is where I take a monster from a horror movie, horror book, horror comic, something that's iconic, reskin it as a Dungeons & Dragons monster, change its name, switch up its abilities a little bit, and then present it to all of you. I do this primarily because, one, it's a good exercise of how to figure out how to take monsters that you like as an inspiration and move them over to Dungeons & Dragons. But two, when you do this in a horror-themed campaign, it really clues in the players what sort of tropes they want to play with as they're moving through the scenario. So today, we're going to go over the Sinpire. Built from blood-soaked wood, the Sinpire looms over the guilty and innocent alike. Save the construct knows, or has at least been instructed, there are no such thing as innocence. Set loose in a region, its duty is to seek out secret sins wherever they may lie and burn them away until it also burns away, quite literally as well. Those wise to its nature do their best to avoid the Sinpire's path and also ensure that it never gets set aflame. Alas, it is very flammable, and accidents often happen. Cast in a vaguely humanoid shape to start, the construct's frame twists and rearranges as it moves to best navigate its terrain. Sometimes it has extra long legs, sometimes it has 4 or 8, whatever is best to keep hunting the sinners that must burn. Let's take a look at the Sinpire's statistics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It is a large construct. It does have the usual sort of condition immunities one would expect for a construct, though it is only immune to poison damage. It's vulnerable to fire damage, which makes it tempting to set it on fire, but its very first ability is Burning Heart, so whenever it takes fire damage, it gains advantage on its attacks and deals additional fire damage until the end of its turn. It does have freedom of movement because, as mentioned in the description, it rearranges itself so it can keep moving forward. It does have a mutable form, so no other magical ability can change its shape. It has magic resistance. It does also have magic weapons, so its attacks are magical. Speaking of, it makes 2 slam attacks, and it also has an ability called Cast the First Stone. So it targets a creature with intelligence 4 or greater that it can see within 30 feet. That creature has to make a wisdom save, and if it fails, well, first off, the Sinpire gains resistance to all damage except for fire and radiant damage. The other half of the damage that would be dealt to resisted attacks is dealt to the linked creature instead, as long as it's within 30 feet. The Sinpire also knows the direction and distance of the linked creature in relation to it. All right, there we go. There's a nice wicker man-like creature that you could use for one of your Dungeons & Dragons scenarios. I hope it gives you a couple of ideas of how to make your own monsters as well. As always, you can find the Sinpire, every monster for this October, every monster for previous Octobers, and hundreds of other horror-themed monsters for Dungeons & Dragons, all perfectly free at boxofteeth.blogspot.com. If you're more interested in the other horror role-playing game projects that I have that have nothing to do with Dungeons & Dragons, or the horror fiction that I write, which includes Grease Paint right there, it's got a killer clown. It's a great read for the Halloween season. You can always go to www.zacharyoshea.com. Thank you for your time and your attention, and have a great day.